Hello again, everybody. I'm Snapper Lancaster, welcoming you to another edition of the Central Alabama High School Sports Show. And folks, as we get this show started, we want to remind you you can catch our show 24/7 on YouTube, on Twitter, and also on Facebook. So when you get a chance, pull it up, look at the show, enjoy our guests, and we'll appreciate that very much. Tonight, we've got a great show lined up for you. We've got a cross-country coach and some of his athletes, plus a football coach. And before we get into that, of course, this being the fall, the season is almost half over already, and you got football going on, and you've got volleyball going on, and the football poll is out. The latest ones, we like to always talk about these polls because this is why the high schools play. You play the games to win and be in the best possible shape to win a championship that you can possibly be in. In Class 7A, of course, number one in the state continues to be Hoover. They're perfect with a 4-0. In Class 6A, you have the number one team, Clay Chalkville. They are 4-0. Number 5 ranked team, McAdory, and number 9, Homewood. So 3 teams in Class 6A from the Birmingham area in the top 10. In Class 5A, the number 1 team is Jackson. Number 2 is Pleasant Grove, and number 7 is Mortimer Jordan. And finally, in 4A, the number 1 team in the state is USM Wright, but Leeds from here in the Jefferson County area are ranked number 5. And very quickly in volleyball in Class 7A, Mountain Brook's number 1. Hoover is number 3. Oak Mountain is number 6. In Class 6A, John Carroll is number 1, and Clay Chalkville is ranked number 10. And finally, in Class 5A, you have Lawrence County that's ranked number 1. Mortimer Jordan is number 6. Springville number 10. And like I said, we always like to recognize these programs because they're doing a fantastic job thus far. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, our first guest of the evening. Don't you go away.
Enjoy the summer even more with great savings from Sarah Mazda.
That's right, this is your summer to save. Get spectacular summer savings on a new Mazda. Save on new 2015 Mazda 3s, only $159 a month. Mazda 6s, only $179 a month. Or take the family on a summer trip in a Mazda CX-5 for $199 a month. And during Mazda's summer drive event, get a new Mazda and your first 2 payments are on us. Plus, all new Sarah Mazdas come with our lifetime warranty and Sarah signature.
Get incredible summer savings at Sarah Mazda,
where we'll put you in the driver's seat.
Take your taste to a different place. It's the taste of hamburger heaven. A taste of heaven is always best. Now you know that you're blessed. Give your taste a whole new spin. Bring your friends and come on in. Take your taste to a different place. It's the taste of hamburger heaven.
Good driver discount, multi-car discount, good student discount. Helping you save money on car insurance is just part of the service you get from State Farm agent Jack Traffinstead. Whether an accident or a simple question, Jack and his staff get you the help you need. And that's the value only a State Farm agent can provide. Call Jack Traffinstead today. 40 million drivers already know nobody gives more discounts to more drivers than State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
The community features a world-class resort and spa, the amazing Robert Trent Jones Trail Golf Course, miles of historic trails, and the whole family loves the pool at Ross Park. Now, are we gonna have to watch your vacation slides all night?
This was supposed to be a party.
Well, this isn't my vacation. I live here.
Ooh.
Folks, welcome back once again. In this first segment, we're going to be visiting with a cross-country coach, our first cross-country guest of the year. Of course, we're talking about Coach Britt Huber of the Vestavia coaching staff. And Coach, good to see you. It's been quite a few years.
Good to be here.
And the one thing that I like talking about before we get into talking about your sport is for the people that maybe haven't seen you in a while, because it's been a few years since you've been on. Tell us about your background and how you ended up being the cross-country coach there at Vestavia.
Well, a quick tour would be coming out of Knoxville. My first job was up in Gardendale, and coaching football and track, cross-country eventually. And And then I was there for 6 years, and I was involved in Young Life Ministry, real involved in that, and that's why I changed my major to education, and that's my grassroots of starting and teaching. And so in Vestavia, I believe it came in '93, and Coach Anderson, we met at a FCA breakfast at Auburn, and he brought me in '93 when Coach Faust was retiring. And so that's how I got started at Vestavia, and I think I'm at 15 or 16 years now.
Wow, yeah, and we've been there about the same length of time as far as working with the school. The one thing that I would ask you, and of course when we talk about track coaches and your sport in particular, like the cross country is in the fall, and then you have your indoor meet during what we call the winter, the indoor season, and the outdoor in the spring. And the uniqueness of cross country, because I've got a granddaughter that runs cross country at Hewitt Trustful, and I know she's training and working all the time, but the difference between it and the running in the tracks indoor or the tracks in the spring is that you're running on courses. And for lack of a better way, I call them obstacle courses, but they're not. They're more terrain of different kind. But talk about the evolution of your sport through the years, because I see there are an awful lot of kids that are involved in track now. And you would think with the other major, they call them major sports, we call like baseball, basketball, and football. Well, to me, the track's a major sport for the youngsters that are competing in it. That's their major sport. So talk about the background a little bit and the uniqueness of cross country, because that's the one thing that it's just not a normal race of any kind.
Yes, I like to use the word Olympic. Track and cross country is an Olympic sport, which goes really far back, as we know, in history, back to the marathon days in Greece and running from city to city. But cross country is a very unique sport in general, because it takes a lot of discipline, and it's a very hard physical sport to do. And actually, I think a lot of kids do enjoy participating because it is so rewarding. Whether you get a trophy or first, that doesn't necessarily matter. It's there's a great reward in training hard, seeing your times drop, the bonding that comes from your team environment if you have a team to work with. And I think that's a wonderful thing about cross country. Courses, it seems with distance coaches, they really like finding good courses, challenging courses for kids. I know a favorite of kids is going through creeks and over things. Of course, most races we don't have a lot to go over because we don't want them to get hurt. But around the state we have some super fast courses. We have a couple of hilly courses, not necessarily mountainous, but so depending on what you're trying to do in your training, you can find that course out there. And then a lot of coaches, they all have different ways of selecting their races for those reasons, for flat, fast, hilly, and this and that. So the sky's the limit though. And then you can travel around the state or out of the state to match up with other teams that are higher level teams if you want to challenge, see how your team does against higher level runners.
Well, the one thing that I would be curious too, through the years, is we've seen the evolution of athletes in all the sports. And what is it that draws, or what do your athletes tell you that draws them to track or cross country in particular? Is it the fact that it's an individual sport, or it's the fact that they enjoy as far as cross country is concerned, the challenge of the different kind of courses you will be running on in your career? But talk about that, and then also how the popularity is still there for track. And a lot of people that think that there's not a lot of participation, that couldn't be further the truth, because when I go to these cross-country meets, I see a lot of athletes.
Mm-hmm. Well, this sport is very unique in the sense that it can be, I think the individuality attracts a lot of students to it because they realize they're not dependent on the team for their success. At the same time, the opposite is it's very rewarding to be a part of a team because you can accomplish things with a team you can't do by yourself. And so it has the element of both. Shot put and track and pole vault and discus, they all have that element where you have to really specialize at that event, but yet some of the most special things I've ever done is some of the championships we've won. In every championship we've won, there's a great story of all the different people that had to accomplish different things in training and competition to be a part of that team that was able to win that championship. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't one person, it wasn't one coach and workout. wasn't one athlete or two athletes. It was a lot of people. So it has both. It has a really neat balance that you can have both sides of individual or team.
Well, I know the one thing that would attract me if I was one is we talked about this just a moment ago. You hit on it. It's some of the meets you go to. You can go to different places. They get to travel in this sport. And it's a sport where people may not realize how much you do get to go different places. Mm-hmm. And are there cross-country meets that you look forward to, and I know your athletes look forward to over other ones? Because there's got to be some that are quote-unquote bigger, or some that you go to venues that are outstanding and the kids look forward to that as well. Mm-hmm.
There are, in the way we do it at our school, we like to match up our teams with the meet. And sometimes we cancel meets and we add a meet. Sometimes we take away this or that. But we try to build our schedule for our teams. Some teams like to travel all the time. So every year they're going to travel no matter what. And we sort of do both. It just depends on what we feel like our team needs. And we feel like that's why we're here, is to build a season for the team so that they will reach their highest potential. And so it's a lot of times you can travel. I remember one time we went to Gainesville for Florida Relays, and we had 30-minute hour delays all day long on Saturday. We got 2 races in on Friday night, so we spent 2.5 days in Gainesville and got about an hour and a half of events in. And so a lot of times it can backfire also. You travel 5 to 9 hours away from home, and then weather can get you.
Well, very quickly, we've only got a few seconds left in this segment. I would ask you this question as we close out. Does this look like a team that come the time you get to your tournaments and state meets that maybe you have some firepower and that your team can make a great showing?
Mm-hmm. Well, we're hoping for that. We have a very competitive sectional. In 7A, it's just very competitive. If you look at the state rankings right now, most of the top 10 teams are from Birmingham. You know, there's a bunch. So our kids are working hard and we're getting ready.
Well, I tell you what, you've had a great program all these years, and I hope it continues to stay. I know you compete at a high level. Best of luck to you and your players the rest of the season. Folks, we'll take a quick break. We come back. 3 athletes that are very instrumental in the makeup of this year's team. We'll be right back.
The community features a world-class resort and spa, the amazing Robert Trent Jones Trail Golf Course, miles of historic trails, and the whole family loves the pool at Ross Park. No, are we gonna have to watch your vacation slides all night?
This was supposed to be a party.
Well, this isn't my vacation. I live here.
Ooh.
The next time you need electrical work, whether it be commercial or residential, you need to call Huffman Electrical Contractors. A company that's been in business for over 35 years. They've served clients not only locally in the Birmingham area and all over the state, but have clients outside the state of Alabama as well. Whether it's a new building or remodeling an older building or home, they can handle the job for you. Once again, that's Huffman Electrical Contractors. The number to call is 205-661-5005. That's 205-661-5005. Where at Huffman Electrical Contractors, a satisfied customer is always their #1 objective.
And this will be your premium right here.
Sorry to interrupt. I just want to say I combined home and auto with State Farm.
Saved $760.
Love this guy.
Okay, does it bother anybody else that the mime is talking? Freaky.
Bundle home and auto, and you could save $760.
That's 760 very good reasons to call Alan Gurdeau in Trussville today.
Land of Frost Premium is America's best-selling 1-pound deli pouch, now available in 12 delicious flavors, including new flavors of mesquite turkey and cotto salami. High school athletes across the country ask for Land of Frost by name. These great items are available at your local grocer, including Piggly Wiggly, Food Giant, Western supermarkets, and many more. Land of Frost also makes other varieties of lunch meats, including deli shaved bistro and sub sandwich kits. Land of Frost is a proud sponsor of youth sports as well. And folks, welcome back. And as you can tell in this segment, we've got 3 outstanding young athletes from the Vestavia Rebels cross-country team. Sitting closest to me, we have senior Sarah Ann Fitzer. Then James Sweeney, who is a 10th grader, I believe, right? And then Alex Beers, an 11th grader. Okay. Well, as we get this underway, guys, one of the first questions that I would ask you, because it's unique to me. I've been a football guy most of my life, all sports, and of course have done play-by-play for the football team. This is my 17th season, but I'm aware of the other sports that are there at Vestavia, and every athlete, just like every coach, wants to be successful and wants to be the best they can. But as we get this interview started, what I'd like to ask, and Sarah Ann, the first question I would ask you is, what was it about track and cross country that drove you to that sport?
I don't know, our coach always kind of says that it's the hardest sport out there, and I think a lot of us do track and cross country because it's just the challenge of it. I mean, I bet a lot of people would disagree with us about that because everyone's kind of got their sport, but we really like to challenge ourselves, and it really is it's a trying sport, but it's also very rewarding as well. So
when you being a senior, how many years have you been on the track team?
I started in 7th grade, and then I ran up with the high school in 8th grade for cross country. So I've been in the high school program for 5 years. Yeah.
Okay, well, one question that I would ask you then, because it's always been interesting to me, what is it, do you enjoy going to these different venues and racing at different places, or would rather race local?
I really like to travel a lot. We went to an FSU meet one year, and that one was really fun. It was a really fast course, and we like to stay in the hotels, and it's usually more fun just because we're all together in one place. And
okay. Well, now, James, I'll ask you the same question. How many years you been running?
I started in 7th grade also, but I've only been running, this will be my 2nd year with the high school team.
Now, what is it about the track team and cross country in particular that has drawn you to the sport?
Well, I swam for a long time competitively, and when I kind of exited that sport, I thought cross country was going to be a good match, just kind of the same style, and it has turned out pretty well for me, and I've enjoyed it a lot.
Well, good. And of course, the third person in our trio here, Alec Beers. Alec, a junior. So have you been running track a long time?
Yes, sir, I have been. I started in 7th grade as well, but I first played soccer since the time I was probably in kindergarten. And we, with soccer, we do a lot of fitness and with running and stuff. So I was able to find my running, ability pretty early on, and I figured out that was what I really wanted to do, and that's where my talents,
Well, a lot of times you saying that's one of the questions I like to ask young athletes. Then you were involved in other sports, but then you chose the running full time, right?
Yes, sir.
And what was the basic reason behind that? Was it a love for it, or you just enjoyed the sport, or thought you excelled a little more in that?
A little bit of everything. I definitely love the sport. I love competing. I just love everything about it, and I feel like that's really where God has blessed my life and putting that talent, giving me that talent to do the best I can do.
Okay, well, one of the other questions I really enjoy asking young athletes like this is, especially a track athlete, is when you're running those courses. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks brutal. Like I was telling the coach earlier, I've got a granddaughter that is involved in cross country. But when you're racing, what are you thinking about? Or mentally, what's going through your mind that drives you? Even if you get a little bit tired, you got to dig deep in.
Yeah. Well, I usually just try to focus on the runner ahead of me and just try to pass that runner, and then once I pass that runner, try to pass the next one. So I'm kind of looking ahead the whole time. I also try to memorize a song in my head, or just repeat something over and over again, so I'm not thinking about other things.
Well, you definitely have to keep a positive mindset.
Yeah, definitely.
Because your mind would tend to wander, I guess, especially maybe once you start getting tired.
Yeah, cross country especially, because it's a 3-mile race, so you have a good 20-minute window to think about anything you want to, basically.
Well, that's okay. That's terrific. I was wondering about those thoughts. James, talk about what's your mindset.
I think about a lot of different things. I think about the moving up, but also it's kind of weird. I do math in my head. It's just got to hit this mile split, hit this mile, and then finish off as fast as you can.
Yeah. James, you're sort of strange, you know.
Yeah,
but if it works, that's all that matters, right? Alec, how about you?
I usually try to get a song in my head, or I'm always thinking about who's around me and where my positioning is, but usually just whatever will get my mind off of the pain. That's usually what I'll have in my head.
Okay, now I'm going to bring other sports into it just for a second, and you'll know why in just a minute. Like when I'm talking with football players, basketball players, baseball, and so forth, I'll say, and you'll understand, which teams do you look forward to competing against that season? And so I would ask you the same question, and not knowing if y'all do develop rivalries of other teams or look forward. I know you look forward to some meets over the others, but at this point, let's talk about the team aspect. Are there any teams you look forward to racing against?
Well, for the girls especially, the Mountain Brook team is really good, and the Hoover team as well. And so we like to kind of race the people, especially in our sectional meet, before we get to sectionals, so we know how we're going to match up against them. So it's good to get those meets in beforehand so we know.
Okay. James, how about you? Do you look forward to running against a certain team over another?
Yes, sir. There's a good bond between all the teams. We all get to be good friends, and it's kind of fun to kind of be like, hey, I beat you this time.
Right.
But it can go back and forth. Hoover is a big team that we like to race against, and Mountain Brook has a great team also.
You know what, you talking about Hoover, and of course I go back to the football aspect of it. That's one of the greatest rivalries in high school football, but there are rivalries in every sport. But the point I'm trying to make there is a lot of times the rivals can get bitter. And most of the time when they do that, and follow me just a second because I want to see if you agree with it, 9 times out of 10, it's not the fans that cause that rivalry, it's the fanatics, and there's a difference. A lot of times fanatics have just picked a school and for whatever reason go and pull for it, and then they go overboard with it. But for the most part, I mean, I know you guys have, and young lady, y'all have friends in Hoover that y'all don't hate them or nothing. You're just out there competing. Mm-hmm. And the only difference between you guys, and is it the same way in your sports, the color of the jersey you got on, right? So. Along those lines, Alex, who do you look forward to running against?
We mostly just look forward to racing whoever's in our section because that's really the main focus for our team right now. Like James said, Hoover is going to be our main competition to make state this year. So we really just look forward to whoever we have to beat in order to make the state meet.
Now, you know, and coaches talked about it a little bit, and you guys have too. It's an individual sport, but you still are a team. So that's the uniqueness of it. And the one thing that I would ask you about that is, first of all, to be the best that you can be as an individual, you have to work hard, and then to be the best you can be as a team, you have to do it together. Now, one of the most important ingredients for that is chemistry. And the thing that will make a team better or worse is if you like one another, get along. Talk about the chemistry, and we'll talk about from the girls' aspect with you, Sarah. And do you have, I know you have friends on there, but do y'all make each other better because there's no animosity or anything like that? Talk about that aspect.
Definitely. We've had teams in the past that have been sometimes a little negative, but this year I feel like we're really positive this year, and we have a lot of freshmen coming in, which is a good thing. It's always good to see a lot of people coming in from middle school that are really excited about running. And so you kind of have to set an example for the younger people coming in. But I think this year we had a camp before we came to school. It was like in the summer at the very end in August, and we really kind of got to know each other then, and so it's been
that chemistry was important, wasn't it? James, talk about that aspect from the guys' standpoint.
We have a lot of freshmen coming in this year, and we're really counting on them to kind of step up into the spots that we need them to fill for our 7-person team. And we've been kind of pulling them along, kind of getting them up running with the veterans that have been running with us for a couple of years now. And it's really important to have guys that will kind of trust you to kind of say, hey, we need to do this, or we don't need to do that.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys, the time's getting away. Before it does, I got another couple of questions I'd like to ask you. One of them that I would ask is, I've just met y'all for the first time tonight. What I'd like to know, are you superstitious? Do you have a hobby you really like? Or what is it you could tell me about you that might surprise me, like you like singing in the shower or whatever like that, because that's where you're a star, you know, when that shower stops, the singing stops. But you might like to write poetry, you know, or what is it? Do you have a hobby or something like that?
We always kind of joke about it on the cross-country team because we have another coach that likes to give speeches, and he always talks about, you know, like, if you have another hobby, you got to do it, you know, to the best of your ability. And he always brings me in as an example. Well, Sarah Ann here plays the flute, and so that's kind of just, you know.
Okay.
So yeah, I play the flute.
A flute player. Okay.
Yes.
How about you, James?
So it's kind of a thing that a lot of runners do for their race is they have a special pair of socks that they wear for every race. I have a pair of red socks that I have specially set out for every race. And yeah.
Don't race without the red socks.
Don't race without the red socks.
How about you, Alan?
I don't do anything too special, but I guess one thing that's pretty cool is that my mom always puts a Bible verse in my shoe, so I always have to get to pull that out and read it before my race.
Hey, that's neat. Well, listen, the last question I got you guys is our time has gotten away and it travels fast. To this point in your young lives, who's been the most inspirational person or persons? And we'll start with you, Sarah Ann.
I would say probably my parents. You know, just because we spend a lot of time together, and you know, they're the ones that are kind of teaching you, you know, throughout your life. And I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm, you know, ready to be on my own, but you know, they're the ones that have taught me everything. So
good for you. How about James?
Definitely my parents also.
Okay, Alex.
Yeah, my parents also. 'Cause I've had a lot of injuries that I've had to go through, and they've always supported me through those and all the good and bad times.
Well, guys, awfully good to meet you and see you. I want you to wish you the best of luck. And I will tell you this, and the coach can hear this too, y'all end up winning a state championship, we'd come back up here and celebrate together, okay?
All right.
And good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Folks, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, different sport, another coach and athlete. Thanks for joining.
And this will be your premium right here.
Sorry to interrupt. I just want to say I combined home and auto with State Farm.
Saved $760.
Love this guy.
Okay, does it bother anybody else that the mime is talking? Freaky.
Bundle home and auto, and you could save $760.
That's 760 very good reasons to call Ted Townley in Homewood today.
Take your taste to a different place. It's the taste of hamburger heaven. A taste of heaven is always best. Now you know that you're blessed. Give your taste a whole new spin. Bring your friends and come on in. Take your taste to a different place. It's the taste of hamburger heaven.
The community features a world-class resort and spa, the amazing Robert Trent Jones Trail Golf Course, miles of historic trails, and the whole family loves the pool at Ross Park. No, are we gonna have to watch your vacation slides all night?
This was supposed to be a party.
Well, this isn't my vacation. I live here.
Ooh.
And folks, welcome back. And in this segment, as we promised a while ago, we're switching sports. We're going from cross country to football, and it's our pleasure to have Coach Tom Causey, the new coach of the Pelham Panthers, with us. Coach, good to see you.
Glad to be here.
And as we start this interview off, Coach, what I generally ask the coaches to do is tell us a little bit about your background and what has led you to be the head coach there at Pelham.
Well, originally I'm from Haynesville, Alabama. Grew up in a football family. I had uncles that was an All-American offensive lineman at Livingston during the 70s when they were having success. And my older brother and younger brother that played college football. And I was blessed enough to receive a scholarship from Livingston at the time. It's West Alabama now. Went there and played. I was really blessed. I started as a tight end there for 3 years, and then my senior year, we went to the run and shoot and ended up getting to play defense. And so I had a great opportunity to play on both sides of the ball at the collegiate level. And then I stayed on in GA there for a couple of years and was hired full-time to coach offensive line there. I was there from 1994 through the 98 season, June of 99. Was blessed enough to get married to my wife now, was Tammy Hafner at the time. We got married and we got into high school coaching and took a job at Daleville High School as an officer coordinator, 4A school down around Enterprise. And I was there for a year and really wanted the opportunity to run a program, and was blessed enough that the folks at Dallas County High School gave me an opportunity, and we were blessed there in 3 years to win a lot of ball games. We'd taken a program that had not, I think they won 10 games in the 5 years prior to us getting there, and we were blessed enough to go to the playoffs all 3 years and won 10 games our last year there and got beaten in the quarterfinals. And had the opportunity to leave there after 3 years and went to Andalusia, another program that had a great history. Don Sharp had in the 70s there, they'd won 58 straight regular season games, but they hadn't had a lot of success before we got there, and they hadn't been to the second round since 1987. We were coming in there in 2003, and they hadn't been past the second round since 1978. And we had a great group of freshmen and that came in that year with a couple of groups that sophomores and juniors ahead of them that really built and bought in. And we were blessed enough there. By the fourth year, we were there to make the semifinals, and we had the opportunity at that point. Coach Goodwin, Doug Goodwin, was leaving Demopolis, who had been pretty successful, and we were able to take over there. They'd had a couple of rough years in 5A. They'd been super ultra successful in 4A, and we were blessed with another good group of kids when we got there, and we were there for 8 years. We won the state championship in 2009, and we're really blessed to average 8 wins a year the entire time we were there, and had an opportunity when the Pelham job came open. I'm a fairly religious man, and I feel like this was somewhere that God was leading me, and for whatever reason we're here now, and we're excited about it, and we're excited about the opportunities for the future, and we're excited about being here in the Pelham area and Pelham High School, and we think it's going to be some great things coming.
Well, I tell you what, Coach, you and I got to talk about it a few minutes on the telephone a couple of days ago, and the thing about it, you come into a program where it was evident they needed a change and wanted to try and go in a different direction, and there have been a couple of things that have affected the school, the splitting of the school and starting up a new program there, a new high school there too. That, among other things, it's made it sort of a tough go to start with, but the main thing I would ask you, Coach, the only thing, and I know being in the coaching profession as long as you have, the only thing you're interested in right now is you want your players to be the best that they can be, do what you ask them to do, and if they do that, well, then you shouldn't do anything but progress as time goes on.
Well, you know, we have a saying in our building that the only two things that a person controls is their attitude and their effort. And as long as both of those are at high quality, then it's all you can ask of a human being in anything. You know, we want them to be, if they're a 4.8, they run a 4.8 be a 4.8 every day. I think one of our biggest issues right now is we're like a yo-yo. We're up and down, and we've got to develop some consistency in what we're doing and how we do it. And until we do that, we'll be hit or miss each week. And that's one of the things that we've really stressed with our guys this season is be consistent. Be consistent with what you're doing and how you're doing it. And we're not there yet. And but we're not going to quit trying to get that, and we're not going to quit until we do get that.
Well, the one thing that I would ask you too, Coach, is what is your philosophy when it comes to the offensive and defensive side of the football? Do you try to run certain things, both schemes on both offense or defense that you want to do, or is it dictated by the athletes you have, and then you work toward what you would like to do?
I think you got to have a base. You got to have a base, and you got to have a base belief on both sides of the football. Our base belief on offense is we're a spread option. We try to be as tempo as much as we can. We want to start the game in everything we do in our passing game and running game is an option. It's not the option we used to think about in Coach Bryan in the wishbone, but we're doing that in the passing game. If they're playing high-low, they're giving us high-low, we're going to read that. We're going to take what they give us. If If it's in the run game, we're reading a down lineman or a defender. We have run pass options, so we always want to give our offense the best opportunity to be successful no matter what the defense is doing. And as long as we're right, we'll have a chance to be successful. Defensively, I think we got to start with the base, and I think you got to fit your personnel a little more to your defense. We want the base out of an even front, a 4-2-5, and there's going to be opponents that are going to, what they do, we may have to play a little more three-man front. But I think in today's high school football, or any football for that fact, you have to be multiple on defense because offenses are so multiple that you can't be. It ain't like it was when I was growing up. You could be in one defense and play it all night long, stay cover three and running the ball, and everything was lovely. You have to be able to adjust and be flexible on defense.
Well, I know one thing when you look at what's going on there at Pelham right now. I guess you teach your guys the basic principle. This is going to be a marathon. It's not a sprint. You start with the basics, you build to where you can be the best you can be, and you'll grow in time if you hold on to that formula.
Well, I think you have to have a base, and before you get your base, you can't move on. And you know, we've got coaches on our staff, and I'm extremely proud of the staff we have. We have coaches on our staff that have great experience and a lot of knowledge of what we're doing, and knowledge of the game in general. And I would love to be able to go do all these things offensively and defensively, and there's things that we see that we could be doing, but until our guys understand the fundamentals of what we're trying to do, then we're going to be in that base, and we're not going to change a whole lot. And as they grow, we grow, and as we grow, the offensive and defensive game plans expand. Well, Coach, the time has gotten away from us, and the one thing that I would say is I know you've been a winner. You're accustomed to winning, and in time, and you have to have patience. I'm sure you're going to put a winning product. That's one thing I'm lacking a lot of those patience. Well, you're going to put a winning product on the field for the people at Pelham, and it's awfully nice to see you, and wish you all the success in the world. Thank you very much. Folks, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back. 4 young athletes. It's very instrumental in the success that's waiting for the Pelham Panthers. Don't you go away. We'll be right back. Land of Frost Premium is America's best-selling 1-pound deli pouch, now available in 12 delicious flavors, including new flavors of mesquite turkey and cotto salami. High school athletes across the country ask for Land of Frost by name. These great items are available at your local grocer, including Piggly Wiggly, Food Giant, Western supermarkets, and many more. Land of Frost also makes other varieties of lunch meats, including deli shaved bistro and sub sandwich kits. Land of Frost is a proud sponsor of youth sports as well.
The community features a world-class resort and spa, the amazing Robert Trent Jones Trail Golf Course, miles of historic trails, and the whole family loves the pool at Ross Park. No, are we gonna have to watch your vacation slides all night?
This was supposed to be a party.
Well, this isn't my vacation. I live here.
Ooh.
And folks, welcome back. As you can see, we've got 4 young strapping athletes here that look like they're ready for the challenge, and so we enjoy the idea of them being here and visiting with us. Sitting closest to me, Giovanni Adan, you're a senior running back? Yes, sir. All right. Okay, Griffin Rivers, and Griffin, you're a senior, the quarterback. And then Connor Christian, and Connor, you're a senior linebacker. And John Drake, the only junior out here. John, you're a linebacker as well, right? Okay, as we get into this, first of all, the question that I would ask Giovanni is pretty simple question. How has the acclimating to a new coach and a new coaching staff, how is that going for you guys?
I'm not gonna lie, when Coach Causey came in here, I didn't know what to expect. You know, going into senior season, last thing you want is a head coaching change. But over the summer, springtime with Coach Causey, honestly, I can say he's the best coach I've ever had. Not only on the field, he teaches, if anything, he teaches us how to be better men, better people, you know, just overall better person. And that's one thing that I always take away from Coach Causey. If anything, never, ever give up.
Well, good, because I tell you what, this is one thing that we've talked about for years on my program, is the fact that these coaches not only prepare you for those games on Friday nights, they prepare you for life after that football game. And of course, senior, the big guy on the offensive side of the ball, the quarterback, Griffin Rivers. Griffin, what's the adjustment been like for you?
Well, playing for Coach Causey, it's been a good experience for me up to this point. Playing quarterback is obviously a pretty big position to hold on the field, and he's done his best to make it easy on me through his schemes, and his offense is really complex, and when you get it working right, it works. And we've shown flashes of being really successful on the offensive side of the ball through his schemes, and so I've really appreciated that he's given me the opportunity to play quarterback for his team, and so it's been a good experience for me.
Well, one thing that you pointed out, and I think that Giovanni was going down on the same lines, he's looking for consistency out of you guys, trying to get you to play in a different way and with more enthusiasm, more seriousness, and so that will work in the end. Connor, Christian here, a linebacker, how has it been for you on the defensive side of the football, new coaches and a new head coach in particular? Talk about the positive and negatives for the change that's been with you.
Negative, you always got to say you're starting new. So you got to brand new defense. You always got to make changes and adapt to the new defense. But the positive, we have a lot more energy. The weight room, we're getting stronger, bigger, faster, and it's definitely helping us out on the field on Friday. We're in better shape, we're bigger in comparison to the other players. We're actually sizing up with some teams. It's just helping us out on the field on Friday nights.
Okay, well, good. John, how about you?
Well, it's always been, I've always been a defensive guy, so I've always worked towards that on the field. And with this new coaching staff, they have forced me to work towards it off the field as well. And it's just made us a much better defense because we're working hard in the weight room, and then we go out on the field and it shows there too.
Well, I tell you what, if you'll listen to the coach before it's over with, you guys are going to go through what we call growing pains. And it's learning new systems, working for different coaches. But this coach has the mindset, and he's been around success, so all you got to do is listen to him. One of the things that I enjoy asking young athletes, and we'll start with you, Giovanni, what college or pro player do you enjoy watching and you say, gosh, that's the kind of running back I want to be? Whether it's college or pro, who would it be?
That's easy. Adrian Peterson, by far. And the guy comes off an ACL tear. Next year, he wins MVP. That's what you strive for.
Let me tell you, if you're this close to what Adrian Peterson was, you're going to be pretty good in high school. That's a great model to have. How about you, Griffin?
Well, for me, I have two players. One is Aaron Rodgers. He's really good at getting out of the pocket and being able to make difficult throws. He's got a really strong arm as well. And, Tom Brady too. Before Deflategate, but he's been around success for a long time, and to be able to maintain that success over as a long career as he has, he's one of the all-time greats.
Being a quarterback, talk about the mental and physical aspects and how much a part the mental plays for you being that quarterback.
Well, mentally, it is a challenge, definitely. Through this system, there's a lot of different reads you have to make with the run and the pass game. For me, I always try to focus on my reads, study a lot of film on the opposing team's defense, try to see the way they work in the secondary, and just trying to make good throws every single day at practice and polishing it up.
Well, good. I tell you what, this should be interesting. We're going back to the linebackers now. And so, Connor, what linebacker do you model your game after? Say, boy, that's what I want to be.
Reggie Ragland, Alabama. Always has a lot of energy on the field. Always making the big hits, and when you see that hit he makes, you're just always like, wow.
There's one word to me that describes Reggie and players like him, and it's one that you want under your name: winner. Yeah. That's what they are, and they put in the work, and you see the results of it before it's over with. John, how about you?
I have to say that my biggest role model in football he's a real old guy. It's Jack Lambert. back with the steel curtain. I've seen so many videos on him, and all my life my dad told me he's the best linebacker. You should be like him, and that's all.
Well, you know what? Your dad didn't tell you a story, okay? He's right about that. Now, guys, this is the first time I've met you. And so what I want to know, and this should be interesting because there ain't no telling what I'm going to get out of this group, but all of us are superstitious or have some kind of little characteristic or something that we're really good at, many people probably don't know about it. Now, it could be writing poetry or singing in the shower or whatever. Now, that's just an example. That's not what I'm asking for. But if you were going to tell me something about yourself that might surprise me that you're good at, you might be a hunter. I don't know. Or you might like play video games. But we'll start with you, Giovanni. What would you say?
Oh, this comes back when I was a freshman. We had a great fullback, Eli Bill. And before every game, he'd have a box of honeycombs, and he'd chow down on them. And he'd come out rushing for 200 yards. So ever since then, I've been stuffing my face with honeycombs.
I was going to say, have you tried that formula? Has it worked?
So far, it's
so
not
far,
bad.
so good. Not bad, huh? How about you, Griffin?
Well, for me, growing up as a kid, you know, what got me going before games was some Skittles, you know, kind of like Marshawn Lynch. And, you know, I always took them right before the game because I'd get a big sugar rush and I'd just go and I'd fly around the ball.
Yeah, sugar.
So, yeah.
They don't call you sugar, do they?
No. Okay. I'm glad they don't.
How about you, Connor?
I'm pretty good at FIFA.
Really?
Yeah.
Would you like
to, FIFA.
For people that might not realize exactly what you're talking about?
Soccer.
Really?
Video game.
Yeah. Oh, really? So you're top dog, huh?
No, he's not.
Okay. How about you, John?
Every day, every game day, I always wear 2 crazy socks. That's just my thing. If I don't have my socks on, then I know I'm not going to play well. It started back freshman year. I didn't have my game socks with me, so I just grabbed 2 random socks and played my best game that night. So
Well, bless your heart, you've been random ever since.
That's right.
Okay. Well, guys, another question I'd like to ask, and I know, first of all, do you play any sport other than football?
Yes, sir.
What do you play?
Wrestle and play soccer.
Okay. How about you?
I'm also a baseball player.
Really? Okay. Those 2 sports go together well.
Baseball.
Baseball?
Wrestling.
Wrestling. So these guys are more than one sports star, so that's neat. Guys, most of the time we have either a team rivalry that we prefer to play one team or over another, or you really get fired up for that game. Giovanni, which game would that be for you?
Easily before Thompson.
Thompson. That's before they. Now, do y'all still play Thompson?
We did this past year, yes, sir.
Yeah, but have y'all, now that you're out of the classification, are y'all not up? Don't get to play them anymore?
I've heard some things, and I've heard others. Apparently, we don't play them next year.
Maybe out of region.
Yes, sir. And I'm not sure.
Yeah, but Thompson's that big rivalry, isn't it? How about you, Griffin?
I have to say Thompson as well. Thompson is a good program, and they're getting better. They were better this year, and you know, so.
Does it bring the sugar out of you?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay. How about you, Connor?
It's also Thompson.
Thompson?
A lot of competition.
Right.
Last year they didn't have a great season, but this year showed up.
Yeah. How about you, John?
I'm gonna have to go 4 for 4 with Thompson.
Yeah, well, you know, those are the games that you look forward to. They're the big rivals, and you want to do well because it's a neighborhood brawl, and you want to be the king of the hill, so to speak. So that's understandable. Maybe if you guys, of course, are lucky, they might, of course, we only got one junior coming back. They might schedule them out of region next year, but you never know. All right, guys, the one question I always like to end an interview with, to this point in y'all's young lives, and we'll start with you, Giovanni. Who's been the most inspirational person or persons?
My dad, by far. He's always on my back, always on my butt, grades. You get out what you put in to it, and you know your hard work will pay off.
Be the best you can be, right?
Yes, sir.
How about you, Chris?
I'd have to say my older brother. He loved Friday Night Lights more than anything, and he was fortunate enough to play college baseball. And he was All-State this past year in junior college baseball in the state of Alabama. And for me, he's had my back ever since, you know, I was born, and he's always looked out for me, always made sure I was doing the right things, keeping my grades up, doing well in sports, treating people the right way. So, yeah.
That's terrific. How about you, Connor?
I had to be my dad. You know, he was a good athlete in high school, and he had a chance to play in college when he messed up his knee, but he's always been the inspiration to me, playing up to how he used to play, because I've seen a few videos, and I just always want to make him proud. He's a great Christian man, and I just want him to rub off on me.
Great. How about you, John?
Well, football-wise, it would have to be my dad, because he didn't have very many opportunities to play football in high school, but he was a great athlete when he did, and he's done everything in his power to give me the opportunity to be a great athlete as well.
Well, that's great. Guys, awfully good to meet y'all, and good luck the rest of the season. Keep listening to the coach. Be the best you can be. That's all he can ask out of you. That's all you can give him, okay? Good luck the rest of the way. Folks, we've had a great show tonight. Great athletes, outstanding coaches. You know what the Snapper says. Till next week, always bye.